Hello guys and welcome to F1 Elite Racing League. This is round 12 I believe, and we are in Italy for this round. This is season 2 and round 12. I've completely messed up the intro, but I have to recover it from here. Now we do, I believe, have 19 drivers in for this race, which is almost a full grid, so that's a really good job. I believe we might have one person join in as they are just doing a download, so this could be a potential full grid. Obviously, the person that joins late will unfortunately have to start at the back of the grid, but I mean, we've seen it before in this league where somebody has come from last on the grid to actually win the race, so that could be another show for us, but we'll see how that plans out. But obviously, at first, we gotta get through the qualifying, and that is always a joy to watch. And I will run you through the standings as they are looking very interesting indeed. So to split two drivers at the top is 16 points. So we have Pova, who's in the McLaren, on 138 points. And then we have Sandman in the Mercedes, who, where is he? There he is. He is on 122 points. So that's 16 points to split those two. So we could see a new championship leader after this race, on depending on how it goes, between maybe if Pova crashes out and Sandman wins or gets second. That would move Sandman up to first place on the grid, but he has just left the session, so that is definitely not helping him whatsoever. He might just disconnect there, so we will hope that that doesn't happen during the race, and we'll get the new things up, because I'm getting better at this. I believe. I hope. We'll see. So Sandman's come out on intermediate tyres. So I'm not sure why the intermediate tyres are on there for him, but we'll stay on board with Koki as he is the first one out to start his out lap and then start his hot lap. So we'll stay on board with him and see what he can produce in the Haas. And as we can see there, Sandman has finally rejoined, and I'm sure he will not be starting on those intermediate tyres in this qualifying session. So we will just wait for Koki to get round Ascari and a few more corners, and then we will stay on board with him as he will get through his... Oh no, what's happened? Oh, Koki, it was your outlap. You've spun on the outlap. That's not a good sign. So just losing it a little bit there through Ascari. That's not what you want on your outlap. That's probably going to be a little bit worrying. But Jim Racing is actually coming quite fast. I wonder if Koki is even going to bother on a hot lap. But Jim Racing is closing the gap very fast. So is Koki just going to let him pass? As the two Haas might actually get in the way of one another right here. So Koki does start a lap, but Jim's going to get a very nice slipstream from him, so thank you very much to Koki, and I think that's what he was just doing, giving his teammate a nice little slipstream, so that's always helpful. So going into turn 1 and 2 now, it's looking good so far. Obviously having that slipstream along that main straight will add a little bit, it will take off a little bit of your time, which could be an extra position for Jim, so definitely it's good to see both teammates helping each other out. So going through turn 4 now, it's very easy, to jump the car like that and lose a lot of time. So like I said, it's so easy to clip that curb and for it to send your car up into an aeroplane takeoff position. So just got to watch out for that you don't take too much curve there, because it can happen. I believe we do have Neil in the Mercedes out on a hot lap behind him, and then we have also got another driver. He's invalidated going through his car, so that's not good for Jim there. So it wasn't looking like the best of the laps after hitting the curb that sent him up a little bit. But let's see, Diego, where are you? You are on a hot lap and you're on medium tyres, so we will stay on board with Diego as he just goes through now turn 7 on the exit as he comes along to the DRS straight. Yeah, it's wide open as you can see there. He is deciding to start on the medium compound tyres, and he's backed off, it looks like, a little bit there. So Motti does set a 124.1 on those soft tyres in the Ferrari, and as I say that, Racing Wheel has set a 123.5 and CR has set a 123.8 on the medium compound tyres, and Shea smashes all those times with a 121.1. As we have a few more drivers coming over the grid, we have Wright with a 121.2, only 1/10 off his teammate. Potro in the Red Bull, a 122.4. And then we also have got Koki with a 140, you know what, we won't count that. We have Balladin in Aston Martin, 8/10 off of pole position right now with a 121.9. And a few others I believe I've not missed. We'll stay on board with, no, even validated. We'll stay on board with Henk as he just comes, oh no, he's already, he must have taken a natural warm-up lap, I believe, so we'll see what he can do. So we stay on board with him. He does run a little bit wide there, so I don't think, is he going to go for another hot lap? And Cookie has retired from the session. I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like he has lost it on turn 6. So you see quite a lot of upshifts there from Henk as he goes through turn 4 and 5. And I believe Cookie, yeah, there has lost it on turn 6. That's not good news for him after only setting a warm-up lap, and Henk has invalidated. So we'll now go on board. I mean, he's on the intermediate tyres. There's not much point of going on board. He's just getting to put some rubber down on the track, shall we say. And Happy's cutting some grass for Ascari. No, that's not Ascari. That is turn 1 and turn 2. I do apologise. Just waiting for a few drivers to get out of the way. Sorry, letting a few drivers pass and getting out of the way for them. But he is currently sat in P3 in the AlphaTauri with a 120.8. So right now, the two Williams drivers are flying. They are at least 6/10 ahead of the other drivers behind them. And we do have a few invalidations going on. But is there anybody improving on their time? Is this Monty going for another fast lap? I believe it is. So we'll stay on board with Monty in the Ferrari, as it looks like he is going to go for another fast lap, and we'll see what he can produce in that Ferrari as he heads through Ascari, and he loses the back end a little bit there, but he does keep line. So is he still going to push this all the way to the line, or is he going to back off? It looks like he has backed off a little bit and will probably be coming into the pits this time. I don't know if he actually was on a hot lap or not, but we will never know. Only he will know. So I mean, he can say he wasn't on a hot lap, and Henk has found the barriers. That is not good news for the Alfa Romeo driver, and we do have quite a few drivers right now on outlaps, so this will be an interesting one to watch. We will stay on board with Sinful in the Aston Martin and see what he can do. He's decided to start on the medium compound tyres. Only Neil out of the top, or out of the drivers that have set time so far, only Neil in the Mercedes has decided to set his time on medium compound tyres. So you can see that he's at a 122.1 in that Mercedes. Potro did the mediums, I believe, because it did. Or did Potro qualify on the mediums? I can't remember. Neil has decided to retire from the session. Is that a crash, or? I believe that is a crash out of turn 7. So we're going to see, while being on board with Sinful, what has actually happened here. So we'll go on board with Sinful. It will be on the right hand side, I believe, and you can see right there Neil's car in the barrier, which is not good news for the Mercedes driver. We've had 2 people DNF already, but Sinful's looking like a pretty good lap on these medium compound tyres. So we'll just see where he can put his Aston Martin with 2 more turns to go as he comes through Ascari. Very easy to go wide there, but he keeps it within track limits. So now it's just down the long back straight, and then around the final corner of Parabolica, and then over the line to finish his hot lap. And it's looking like it's going to be a 124.5, so it's enough to put him into P11. He's slightly off the pace of the other medium tyre runner, but that's Neil, so we're not going to base the pace too far off of it. But maybe he might decide to go onto the soft compound tyres, move him up a few positions. But anyway, we'll go on board with the McLaren. Oh no, we won't. He's not on a hot lap. We'll go on board with the AlphaTauri driver of F1 Mason, as I believe he is on a hot lap himself. His teammate currently sat in P3 with a 121.8. So F1 Mason now just coming through Ascari. We'll see how it looks through here and see if he can keep the back end intact. And it looks very stable, very stable, very stable. He got 3 stables from me. That means it was very smooth. But anyway, he comes through Parabolica, turn 11, and we'll see what time he can put down on the timing board for his first hot lap. And I believe it's going to be a 1:22.7, so it's enough to go up into P8. So that is a decent lap from F1 Mason. As you can see there, a few of our drivers who had not set times had actually decided to go into the pits, so maybe they had an incident and just decided to come into the pits. I don't know what Sandman's doing. He's thinking it's a soaking wet track. Just going down those intermediate tires. I don't know, just seeing what the track's like, I guess. But I'm sure he will put on a fresh set of softs or mediums come the end of this qualifying session, and then probably get a pretty decent time down on the board. And Tibran has lost it through Nascari, so we'll go on board with CR. He's currently 5 tenths up on his time. You can see the car on the right there, so he's obviously clipped the inside curb through Nascari and ended up in the wall. But we'll stay on board with the Red Bull, who's currently sat in P13. He was half a second up on his time, which should be enough to move him into the top 10. So we'll see what he does as he comes around the final corner, and it is enough to take P9. So he moved up into P9, so that's a very solid time from him. Just one more attempt to gain, 2 more attempts, one more attempt to gain another position, 1.5 more attempts to gain 2 positions. So definitely, if he can find a little bit more time throughout his lap, he will be able to move up a few more places. So you can see Racing Wheel there in the Alpine actually sliding his way around the Nascari, and I believe Jim Racing has just moved up into P6 in that Haas. Also, Snaggletooth has managed to join the session just before it ends, so that is good news for him. He will be starting in P20 though, and we'll keep our eye on this man here, who's currently our championship leader. Only 16 points ahead of Sandman though, so we won't stay on board with Pova, but we will come back to him when he starts his hot lap. We will see who else is on our hot lap, who is improving. Happy is not. Baladin looks like he has just improved. Yes, he just improved by 7 tenths, which has only taken him less than a tenth behind P2 of the other Williams. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but it doesn't look like anybody else is on hot laps. I say that Jim Racing is 3 tenths up on his time, so we'll stay on board with Jim in the Haas as he comes through Ascari now, and we can see what time he is going to set, as he does run wide there and he does invalidate, so those 3 tenths up that he had on his time are no longer valid. We also have Nesh, who's just started his hot lap, so we'll stay on board with him and see how his hot lap goes, and then we'll jump on to Pova for his hot lap, as that'll be interesting to see what time he can put down on the medium compound tyres. So the Ferrari now coming through turn 3, 4. No, sorry, turn 4 and 5, that's my bad, and as he enters turn 6 and 7. Very easy to lose the back end if you put the throttle down too early on these corners. But it's looking rather good so far from the Ferrari driver, as he nearly exceeds track limits there, but he does keep it inbound. So coming through sector 2, what time has he done? He has actually done fast sector 2. I'm not sure if that is correct or if the game is telling the truth for once. So we won't take its word for it yet, but we'll see what Nesh in the Ferrari will put down on their timing board in a very short period of time, and then we'll jump on board with Pova in the McLaren and see what time he can set. So Nesh comes across the line to take P12 with a 123.1. He's only 1 tenth behind his teammate in the Ferrari, so that's a decent result for him so far. Pova is coming down the back straight right now as he just goes through as Kari. We'll see what time he puts down on the timing board, as he is yet to also do so. And you can see there Sandman has come into the pits and he currently has got the medium tyres on, so I imagine he'll be going for a run very shortly. But Plover comes across the line to take P13 on the medium compound tyres. So is it worth going for a medium compound tyre strategy? Because outside the top 10 anyway, you get to start on whatever tyres you want, so might be worth chucking the softs on and just going for a top 10. But we have seen a medium tyre driver, a driver that has chosen medium tyres in the top 10 right now. It's actually Neil saying P5, so he's proved that it's possible to get there on those medium compound tyres. But Sandman is currently now on an up lap, so we will stay on board with him for his whole hot lap and see what times he can do, as I'm sure he'll be setting a few purple sectors, as we know he has got a great pace in that Mercedes, obviously winning from the back of the grid in Belgium. I believe that was round... Sorry, it wasn't Belgium, it was another track. Oh, no, it was... No, it wasn't Belgium, it was a track before that. I cannot remember, I do apologise. But anyway, Sandman apparently took 3 minutes. No, he's on 3 minutes already in sector 1. Would you believe that? Just a few glitches on the timing it seems there, but we'll stay on board with the Mercedes driver and see what he can do for this qualifying session, as he has not got much time to put in some laps, but I'm sure that's not going to affect him too much. And I believe that's who has just... Baladin has just improved... No? Sorry, Pova has just gone P7 on the medium compound tyres with a 122.4. Only 2 thousandths off... Sorry. Yeah. 200ths, my bad. Off moving up into P6. So that's a solid result for him to start in P7. And, Sandman's on an outlap. That's not great. Anyway, we'll go on board with Hank then, as he comes across the line to set a time of a 123.2, so it's enough to take P14, but it's the slowest of the soft runners other than Koki, but he never actually set a proper hot lap. But you never know, during the race some drivers opt for a much more racier setup in qualifying. I'm a driver that also does so. I prefer to have a good race setup rather than a qualifying setup, because one safety car can change a lot of things, and obviously if you've got the race setup, you're in a much more better position in the race, and I'd rather be there than in the... Oh, and that's F1 Mason. It looks like he's run out of track there, going into turn 1. Not too sure how he's ended up that way into turn 1. He has retired though. Hopefully he don't get in the way of anybody. But we're now on board with Sandman, who has actually started his hot lap this time. It's not a... Oh, as he does bounce across turn 4. That doesn't look too good so far, but I'm sure he'll be able to make up some time throughout the rest of this lap. It's coming out the exit of turn 7 now. DRS will be wide open in just a second. There you can see it, as he doesn't... Okay, it looks like he will be going for another hot lap. It looks like he has decided to back off for this one after bouncing across turn 4. Oh, hold on. What did I just see? Sandman was just... This is very glitchy. So Sandman's somehow glitched into like the pits or something? What's going on? I'm not too sure what is happening. That is very strange. Potrose managed to move up into P5 to take ahead of Neil there in the Mercedes. But I'm not too sure what has just happened. Apparently Sandman's now on his outlap, as he's lagging all over the place. So I'm really not too sure what's going to happen here, because Sandman hasn't got a lap down, but it looked like he would have had enough time to get a lap down until he like glitched into the pits. So imagine that would be okay. Apparently he can start his hot lap, so the timing is going to be completely wrong. It's at 7 minutes 30 right now, apparently. I'm not too sure what has happened. He does go deep into turn 1. I'm not sure if this is a proper hot lap or not. But he's got the whole grid watching him because everybody else is in the pits. Only one out of track, which is very nice. You got nobody in your way. Let's see if he bounces over the curves this time. No, he doesn't. He does bounce a little bit over that one, but let's see what time he sets. He's currently lagging it a little bit as well. And apparently he's back on his out lap again, so I'm really not too sure what has happened here. Very, very strange. We will just wait 40 seconds until qualifying is over, because it just seems to have messed up a little bit, shall we say. And apparently he's now back in the pits. So what's going on here? Contrast line, is that going to be the... Apparently he's gone into the pits. So apparently he's in the pits right now. You can see he's got the P on his steering wheel. Just show he's in the pits. But he's going along the straight. So do I know what's happened here? No. And I hope he hasn't broken the lobby. I'm not too sure. He's clever, very clever. Yeah, that's very strange. I'm not too sure what's happened. I'm trying to find out. Now I've got a yellow sector 3. Nobody's in sector 3, are they? Now you got a yellow sector 2. Nobody's in sector 2. And now we are watching nothing. And apparently Daniel Ricciardo, no, oh, I don't know what's going on. Well, anyway, there is your results for the qualifying session. What a strange one it was. But Pova, our championship leader, starts in 9th, and our current runner-up in the championship will be starting P19. So that's going to be very interesting throughout the rest of this race. So we'll wait for the drivers to select their setup, and then we will get underway. Oh, T Brown has left the session. Right, anyway, I'll run you through the driver order for this race. So Shea in the Williams will be starting on pole position. And alongside him on the front row will be his other Williams teammate of Bray. And in third there is the Aston Martin driver of Baladin. He'll be starting on the second row of the grid. And I'm just trying to get up a few things. Happy in the AlphaTauri will be starting in P4, also on the second row. And then Potro in the Red Bull will be starting on P5. Alongside him will be Neil in the Mercedes, who is actually starting on medium compound tyres. So Potro should not have to worry too much about Neil behind him, as those mediums will be a little bit slower off at the start of the grid. But later on in the race, you might have to worry a little bit, Potro, as your tyres start to fall off, and his won't. And then we have CR in the other Red Bull starting in P7. Jim in the Haas starting in P8. Pova, our current championship leader in the McLaren, starting in P9 on the medium compound tyres. T-Brown starting in P10 on the soft compound tyres. And then here we have the start of the fresh tyres choice for the drivers, as it's outside the top 10. So F1 Mason in the AlphaTauri starts in 11th on the medium compound tyres. And then we have the two Ferrari starting in 12th and 13th on the soft compound tyres. Henk starting in P14. He has decided to start on the medium compound tyres. Racing Wheel starting in P15 on the soft compound tyres. Simple starting in 16th. The Aston Martin driver has decided to also start on the medium compound tyres. We have seen him up there before in previous races, so I imagine he will gain some places throughout this race. Diego starting in P17 on the soft compound tyres. Koki, the other Haas driver who didn't manage to get a lap in, a proper hot lap in, starting in P18. And then to round off the grid we have Sandman, who the game just didn't like him that day, so it didn't work for him. That's what you get for going out on intermediate tyres. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we'll wait for the lights to go out, and you can see a one stop seems to be Francis around here, but we'll wait for the lights to go out and for the drivers to get going. Now we can't actually see the lights. Now we can. So 5 lights, and they are out. So it looks like the Williams drivers have got away well, and we do have a Red Bull there going onto the grass. It looks like Potro, he's going to be falling back a few positions, but further up the field is the AlphaTauri driver going to go for a move down the inside into turn 1. The Aston Martin driver decides to go round the outside. Shea's been given a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And the Aston Martin driver is now side by side. Sorry, the AlphaTauri driver of Hetty is made a move up on Baladin after Baladin tries to go deep into turn 1 to get around the outside of the Williams driver. Jim Racing has moved up into P5. Pova has dropped down into P10. Sandman has kept his position as it stands. And it looks like there Shea picked up a 3-second time penalty for cutting across turn 1 and turn 2. And as I speak, the Aston Martin driver of Baladin has got back past Happy, but it looks like Happy is looking to try and make a move back past him to move back into P3. Doesn't look to be close enough, but a little bit further down the field we do have... Who have we lost? Potro has managed to fall all the way down into P18, it looks like there. So that's not good news for him. Sandman is not even got a wing. That's not good news for our runner-up in the championship as it stands. Simple has already moved up 4 places to move into P12. But we'll move a little bit further up the grid now as Neil is on the back of that Haas driver who is Jim Racing. So we'll stay on board with him. Henk is also 2 tenths behind Diego. But we'll see if Neil does get past Jim Racing along the straight, but it doesn't look like it. We'll just have to wait for DRS. You can see their Racing Wheel coming into pit, and looks like he must have some damage. A little bit further back, Henk is on the back of Diego. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? Doesn't look like he just sits behind. Obviously, you're going to want to clear those soft tyres running as quickly as possible, as they are just... Sorry, you're going to want to clear... The soft tyre runners are going to want to clear the medium tyre runners as quickly as they can. Neil has managed to move back up into P5. And now he will have a 1-second gap to the car in front, so he should be able to push on a little bit. And as I speak, the leaders have managed to form a few seconds between them but Baladin has got Heavy right on his tail, and it looks like the AlphaTauri driver has lost it on the back end out of turn 7, and that will be a wing loss for him. That's not good news for Heavy and the AlphaTauris. He's going to lose a bunch of places, and obviously he's going to have to come into pit now, so that does move up Neil into P4 now. But you just got to be a little bit careful going through Ascarius. He doesn't want to get in anybody's way. But that's not good news for him. Pova still sat in P10. Looks like he's got some places to gain. He's only down to 40% ERS. You can see quite a few drivers. Some have kept their ERS, and some have used quite a chunk of it at the start of this race. And Sandman has been given a 10-second time penalty for something, not sure what. But DRS has now been enabled, and T-Brown will now have the delight of DRS on Jim Racing on the car in front of him, so we will keep our eye on that. A few more places being swapped and changed. It's like Monty has got past the Red Bull of CR there, and it's like Nesh's teammate is going to go and try and follow the Ferrari through as he tries to attack that Red Bull to gain up into P8. And as I speak, Simple has managed to move up into P10 already. Looks like Pova's losing a few places there and has now dropped out of the points. That would be great news for Sandman to hear. But Nesh, the Ferrari, is looking to attack onto the Red Bull of CR to see what he can do, as his teammate has just got past him. So we'll see. It looks like he is actually quite far back, and if anything, the Red Bull of CR is going to try and attack now the Ferrari of Motti, who's going to be the first of the late breakers. It looks like they both go into Ascari quite a lot of speed, and that could leave CR quite compromised to the Ferrari behind him, as Nesh now is going to have a good run. No, it's not. It looks like he must have backed off a little bit coming out of the exit, maybe just didn't want to tap the back of the Red Bull. But the Red Bull now looking to try and get past Motti, as he is going to have DRS along this straight, so we'll see what comes from these two. And obviously the Ferrari driver behind them is also going to have DRS, and Pova is also on the back of Simple. He's going to have DRS as well, so two battles to keep our eye on. The Red Bull goes to the inside going into turn 1. If we see in the background, Pova is going to go for the inside into turn 1 as well on Simple. It looks like Monty tries and keeps the inside line. Is he going to keep the position? No, he's not. Is he going to lose the position to his teammate? Yes, he is. It looks like his teammate's going for the inside line on Monty, and it's like Monty has lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners there, so not good news for him. As I spoke, Pova did manage to pass the Aston Martin driver of Simple along the straight thanks to DRS, and we also have got the Alpine driver of T-Brown attacking Jim Racing in that Haas, and the 2 Williams have managed to catch each other up. Well, one's managed to catch the other one up and is now in DRS of one another. But now it's going to be the Ferrari's turn to attack that Red Bull once again, as the DRS is wide open, and that's going to give them a real boost going down the straight to catch back up onto the back of the Red Bull. F1 Mason also has DRS on Simple, but also behind him Potro, who's managed to gain quite a few places from his incident at the start of the race. Obviously just going wide off at the start and losing quite a few places because of that. But now the Williams driver, is he going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1? I don't think he's going to be close enough. He does have to run wide and take the long runoff area. Now, is he going to get a penalty for this? Yes, he is. I don't think that is very fair for the Williams driver, as if anything, he has lost time, and now he's got a 5-second penalty to pay the price for, and now Baladin has got DRS on him, so I guess that is going to be quite frustrating for the Williams driver indeed. But we'll stay on board with Nesh as he looks to now attack that Red Bull, and coming up to the DRS straight, I'm sure that is going to happen as Henk manages to pass F1 Mason. 2 cars, F1 Mason might have gone off. I'm not too sure what has happened there. But we'll stay on board with Nesh as he is right behind the Red Bull of CR. Will he be able to make a move along this straight? I don't think he's quite close enough. But we'll also keep our eye on Baladin, who's currently on the back of the Williams, but he has now lost DRS from the Williams driver. Jim Racing is also within nearly 1 second. T-Ran is also nearly within 1 second, but we'll keep our eyes on Nesh and CR as the Ferrari and the Red Bull battle it out. And I'm sure Nesh can have a good chance of getting past CR along this main straight with the help of DRS, as you can see. CR in the Red Bull has not got much ERS left at all, so the Ferrari, this should be quite an easy pass for him going. He's going to have the move done before he even reaches the corner, and that moves him back up into P7. So good move from him there. Now Pova is under threat from Simple, who he did manage to repass along the main straight, and that is Racing Wheel retiring from the session. Looks like he's lost it through Ascari. So that's our first driver out from a retirement. I believe Sandman has just given up. I believe so, because the game has just been a little bit glitchy for him. I don't know if it was a Wi-Fi issue or whatnot, but he has decided to retire from the race. Managed to get himself disqualified as well somehow. I'm not too sure how he managed that, but I'm sure it wasn't for on purpose. But we'll stay on board with T-Brand, and see, it's currently 4 tenths away from Jim Racing in the Haas, so I'm sure he will have a good run on the Haas driver down the main straight. He's just got to stay on the back of him, and you can see there T-Brand in the Alpine does have about 15% more ERS than the Haas driver, so that could play a good part as we get a nice helicopter shot there to come around the Parabolica. So the Alpine looking to get a better exit than the Haas driver, and he's going to have the help of DRS, but is he going to need DRS? He's going to get the move done nearly before he even gets DRS, and he's just going to breeze past that Haas and move up into P5. And as I speak, the Red Bull has gotten past the Ferrari again. This is just a game of swapping and changing places between the Ferrari and the Red Bull right now. Motti seems to be falling back just a little bit, maybe trying to look after his tyres a little bit more, but he is being chased a little bit by Pova, who is still under threat from Simple, but Simple has not been able to get close enough to be able to get past him on the main straight. But currently the battle for P7 is happened now for around 4 laps, and it is still going on. So we'll stay on board with these two drivers as they are putting on a show, and that is the Red Bull in the wall. That's his retirement. He has lost it on the exit, and as I said, they were putting on a show. That's now a safety car, and that is a Red Bull in the wall. That is not good news for CR at all, as he managed to lose it coming out the exit of turn 6. Very easily done, and that is his race now over on lap 7. And this is lovely news for the people on soft tyres, because if you want to make an early pit stop, then go for it, because you're not going to have to do it again. I think the Williams drivers are trying to dummy each other to go into the pits, or I might be very wrong. One does decide to go into the pits. Aston Martin driver decides to go into the pits. Neil decides to go into the pits. He's actually on medium tyres, so I imagine he'll be going for hard tyres. Quite a few drivers are deciding to stay out. We have Monty there on the soft tyres deciding to stay out. So a few drivers coming into the pits, a few not coming into the pits. So we'll see what tyres our championship leader does decide to put on. As I imagine, he will go for the hard compound tyres, and there they are. You see the white stripes on the tyres indicate they are hard compound tyres. So now Shea still leads the race from lap 1. Monty has now moved up into P2 but has yet to pit. Simple in P3, still yet to pit. Hank still yet to pit, Kogi still yet to pit, and Diego still yet to pit. So this is going to be a real challenge for the drivers that have decided to pit, as they're going to have a few more cars to clear, and that could ultimately maybe cost them some more time than it would have done pitting under the safety car. But we'll stay on board with Shea, and you can see Neil there actually deciding to go onto the soft compound tyre, so he might be looking to pit again in this race. The safety car will be in the next lap, as we do have F1 Mason catching up the field, currently 24 seconds behind, and he will gain that in no time. Just a few drivers just charging up their battery. You can see there some on 90%, and two drivers actually decided to pit, so Diego and Motti both decided to go into pit this lap. So that's good news for the drivers that have decided to pit. So Baladin will be very happy with that, as he has now got less cars in front of him for him to push on in this race, and he could be looking at a potential race win right now, Baladin, as the other cars in front are still, and he is near the front, but he is got Neil behind him on the soft compound tyres. So that is going to prove a little bit tricky for him. But a few drivers also picking up a few penalties. I believe Shea's got a 3-second one, Henk has got a 3-second one, and a few other drivers have got 3 seconds as well, just for exceeding track limits a little bit too much. But we're currently down to 16 drivers after 9 laps. But we'll just wait for them to warm up their tyres, let everybody catch up, and for the safety car to come in this lap, as I believe it'll be this lap the safety car does come in. So there you go, you have got confirmation that the safety car is in this lap. Yes, yeah, it does happen sometimes, especially you're under threat and you try and put the throttle down a little bit quicker and it just snaps and there's nothing more you can do from there, and it's just unfortunate. It happens from time to time. But anyway, the safety car is restarting now, coming in this lap, sorry. So Shea will back up the field, but it doesn't look like it. He's decided to go early and he is already underway. So Shea leads, followed by Simple, then we have Henk, Koki and Baladin as our top 5 drivers. And currently, as I speak, Baladin is already under threat from Neil, who looks to go down the inside into turn 1, and he has got that move done nice and easy. Further back, we do have Bray looking to get past the Alpine of T-Bran, he has managed to do. We do have a little bit of wobble there from Baladin as he comes out with turn 2. We have Williams taking the grass there, that is great. Taking the grass just there, and Koki, I believe, has just been overtaken by Henk. No, Henk has just overtaken, sorry, Simple. Oh no, right, no, that is right, sorry, Simple was already there. So you can see that Neil actually moving up a lot of places and very fast. Henk being absolutely swarmed there on the older compound tyres, but Neil's charging on now to try and catch up to the front runners, as I'm sure he's still going to have to pit again. I mean, I can't see him making 20 laps go on soft time. It might be completely wrong, but we will see. Now the yellow sector 2, who is that? That looks like it is Morty. What has happened to Morty? He's going slow. It doesn't look like he's got any damage. He might have just been shoved into the grass a little bit there. But Baladin does pick up a 3-second type penalty going through Ascari, so that's quite crucial in his battle, as he could be looking at a potential race win here, because I believe later on in this race, Neil's tyres are going to be absolutely done, or he's going to have to pit again. But he clears another driver now of Koki in the house, but Koki is looking to come back on Neil, but Neil just slightly outbrakes him. Obviously being on those soft compound tyres, you have the ability to do that, and Baladin now will be lining up the move on Koki in the house. So we'll stay on board here as he's going to do the move already. Koki seems to go a little bit wide there, maybe just indicating Baladin to go through. He doesn't want to lose too much time trying to defend from him. T-Bram has managed to clear Henk, and now it's going to be the Williams driver to try and clear Henk as well. So Henk just being overtaken by cars upon cars upon cars. But the drivers behind them just have to be a little bit patient and make sure they don't force an incident when trying to push a little bit too hard. And Neil has managed to already clear Simple and is now only 3 seconds behind Shea. So Bray is looking to make a move. That's a very late move on Henk. He's managed to make Henk go a little bit wide there through Ascari. Maybe cut some grass in the process. That is going to leave him compromised to Jim Racing in the house. He's going to be able to make a move now on Henk. Looks to be a little bit too far back, but he will be able to make the move going along the main straight, I'm sure of that. And and now DRS has been enabled, so that is going to be a massive help to these drivers that are 1 second behind the car in front. And as you can see there, the overtake button is on, and GM Racing is just going to drive by, and Nesh as well is now looking to make a move. But we'll hop back up the field, and now we have Baladin trying to get past his teammate. Obviously Baladin is on the fresher compound tyres, so Simple might just give way. I'm not too sure. We've already seen a little bit of team play going on, obviously between the two Haas drivers, one giving them a tow on the straight. But we'll see now how easy this is going to be for Baladin to get past Simple, or is Simple going to make it a little bit more difficult than Baladin would have wanted. Obviously being on those fresh 8 lap younger tyres, it should be a little bit easier. And that's the yellow sector 2, I'm sure that's somebody just going wide just there. But it looks like he does let Baladin pass just there. And as I speak, Koki's actually doing a really good job on those 11 lap old tyres to possibly now even get past Simple. If he has got, doesn't look like it focused on using the ERS as well. Simple does have a little bit more than Koki. But we'll see, because now Koki will have DRS, and F1 Mason has retired from possession. That is through Nascari. You can see, we will stay on board with Popro as he goes through Nascari. I believe that is on the right side of Ascari. Coming out of the exit, it looks like he's just clipped the inside curve. I believe we saw somebody in qualifying do the exact same thing. I really hope it was not him that done that, because then that just doesn't look like you learnt from your mistakes. But hey ho, it happens sometimes. I mean, I'd probably crash if I tried doing a race right now through here. Just very easy to clip the curves and lose the back end. But Neil, the gap to Neil and Shay is now down to 2.1 seconds, so that is filling in rather quickly. But Koki and T-Bran are within 1 second of one another, so these two could be lining up mute very shortly. And Nesh has also managed to catch up the back of GM Racing, who he is now 8 tenths behind, so he will have DRS on the Haas driver. But will T-Bran now be able to get past the Haas? I believe he will not be able to, and you can see there the ERS difference that these two drivers have got. I mean, I should probably take off the telemetry, you know, it's giving information to other drivers that are watching, giving them a tactical advantage. You can't be having that. No, I'm sure they don't mind, but the Aston Martin driver just following his teammate through, who's obviously on fresher tyres. But if the leader was to now pit, as he does, I believe he's going to come out near last position. So did he make the right choice by not pitting under safety car? In my opinion, I don't know, because he will have fresher tyres near the end of the race, but he's going to be all the way down in around P14, which is not where you want to be after just leading the race. But now Koki has managed to get past the Williams driver or Brait there. I'm not too sure what happened to Brait, but Koki has moved up into P3 now. Obviously Simple and Koki are still yet to pit. Monty there being given a 5-second time penalty for exceeding chat limits. Really not too sure what happens there. Maybe just going straight on across turn 1 and turn 2. I mean, the game doesn't really recognise it as you are taking that other line because you can't make the corner, and it just gives you a 5-second time penalty no matter how slow you go, which I think is slightly unfair. But T-Ran's going to make a move now on the Williams driver of Brait, and he's going to reach past that Williams and move up into P4, and now he has the Haas driver or Koki in his sights. And Neil is currently running away right now. He is 10 seconds clear of the next car who has pitted, so maybe, just maybe, he will be able to pit again and put on soft tyres and still be able to win this. So we'll keep him in this, as Baladin has lost a lot of places. I'm not too sure what has happened to him. It looks like he must have gone off during Ascari, but Pover's there just behind him, maybe looking to make a move. But our championship lead, that looks like Brait, the Williams, he's going into the pits. But our championship leader seems to be struggling a little bit on this track. We've not really seen him this far down before, but you could say to me before, he doesn't really like this track too much. And you see that Baladin actually going wide a little bit. He doesn't want to take the shortcut either, because he knows he will get a 5-second time penalty. But that is going to lose him a lot of time as he now goes onto the grass. That's going to lose him a lot of time. Maybe the 5-second time penalty would have been worth it. yeah, Pova was saying to me before this race that he really didn't like this track, and obviously, if you don't like the track, and like it doesn't go well with trying to do good on it, because, and that's Henk. Henk has spun round, and Henk's in the gravel. That's another easy pass for Pova. Maybe lose medium tyres. Are starting to go off a little bit and lose a bit of grip. So now Shay and Motti both pass, and as I speak, Shay has moved up quite a few places, and he's now up into P8. So he did come out in P14, but he's already up into P8 within a few laps. Really, not too many laps at all. So I was completely wrong. Maybe he was right to pit when it wasn't under safety car. But he is, if Neil does pit, Aladdin will not be in front of Neil, and then Neil will obviously be on pressure tyres, so maybe Neil has gone for the right strategy choice now. But we've now gone board with Happy as he looks to try and clear Koki, who looks like Happy pitted quite early on too. Maybe he's going to try and make those medium tyres go to the end now. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Obviously those medium tyres will go 23 laps. I believe they can do that. So Happy might be looking to go to the end of this race now on those medium compound tyres. But we'll stay on board with him and see if he can pass the car in front, who's the Haas driver. Definitely locking up like that will definitely not help your tyre wear, Happy, but then again, it happens sometimes. So you see that the Haas driver's actually lost it a little bit on the exit, and everything is say thank you very much. I will take that position. But the thing is, it doesn't look like he will be close enough even with DRS to get back in front. And now Nesh is also there. Does he have DRS? No, he didn't get DRS. But near in the main, oh, that's looks like Koki's lost it and actually collected Nesh in the process. So that's really unfortunate for Nesh. Just wrong time, wrong place. And Pova's now up into P5. Shay is into P6, Morty's moved up into P7, Koki and Nesh coming together has lost them a lot of time, and now Henk can see them just in front of him. So what is Koki going to do now? I imagine after losing it twice, you've got to come in and pit, right? He decides not to, and Motti does come into the pit, so Motti does come into the pit, so maybe he had damage. Imagine he'll be going for the sub-compound tyres, as there's only 10 laps left of this race. Oh, he has to serve a 5-second time penalty as well. So it looks like he's putting another set of medium compound tyres on, maybe he just doesn't like the soft compound tyres. But that's going to lose him a lot of time to the other drivers. But now we have the battle for 8 between Koki, Diego and Henk, all within around 1 second of each other. So we'll stay on board with these drivers and see what they can do. Obviously Diego being on the fresh tyres will have the pace advantage. So Alfa Romeo driver be able to get past Koki going into Ascari, looking like he's just trying out a little bit of track there, and Simple does finally come into pit, so we'll see where he comes out upon his pit stop. But Diego now is lining up Koki and looking to try and get past. You see the two Alfa Romeo drivers currently sat in P9 and P10. Looks like Koki has gone actually quite wide out of Parabolica there, and it looks like he has finally gone into pit this lap. So that's going to give Diego a nice little DRS for free, and obviously he got past the driver quite easily. But now our championship leader is moved up into P4. He was in P10 just a minute ago. What has he done here? He's turned on the magic button and put his foot down, and now he's all the way up into P5 already. But he is right behind Shay, who's currently in P4. Obviously, Pova does have the older tyres by 6 laps, and obviously being on the slower compound tyre compared to the medium compound tyre, obviously being on the hard compound tyres. And Simple on those soft tyres has got 9 laps to catch 12 seconds on Pova and overtake him to move up a few positions. And Pova's lost it going through Ascari. on those hard tyres. Did he get any damage? I do not know. But that's not good for Pover. He was looking at a potential P4 there and maybe just got a little bit excited and put down a little bit too much throttle. Now, is he going to come into pit because he has damage? I don't think he touched the wall, but I might be completely wrong. Heavy does come into pit, so it doesn't look like Pover has got damage as he is staying out. But that is going to give Simple a nice chance now to move up into P4, as he is now only 4 seconds behind Pover. Sorry, 5 seconds behind Pover. And obviously Nesh in the Ferrari is doing a very good job himself. And that is Koki, the Haas driver, and that's a safety car. Looks like he has lost it for Ascari. So we'll stay on board with Neil, who's managed to already lap somebody. And it's like, yeah, you can see Koki there on the left, just lost it on those hard compound tyres. Obviously, it is a little bit different to the normal compound tyres. But this is giving Neil a free pit stop, and obviously you're just going to put on those soft compound tyres because they're just so quick. Like, I don't think he might lose one position, so he's going to go into the pits now and get his tyres changed. That's going to give Bray a nice chance to actually unlap himself so he isn't stuck behind Neil under the safety car. But he is putting on the soft compound tyres. T-Brands decided to come in and put on the soft compound tyres. Shea is staying out. Obviously his tyres are only 4 laps old. What is Pover going to do? Pover does decide to pit, and I imagine he'll be going onto the soft compound tyres. What is Simple going to do? Obviously Simple, those tyres are fresh, so he can stay out and he will come out in front of T-Ran. Looks like he's just going to be, oh, he's just going to be just behind T-Ran. And Nesh looks like he is also pitting to put on the soft compound tyres. What a few other drivers going to be doing. So it looks like a few drivers staying out actually, which, I mean, they are on fresh tyres, and I must say, drivers like Bray and Potrow might as well just pit. I mean, they are at the back of the grid anyway, but Potrow is already on fresh tyres, so he doesn't actually need to pit. But Brakeman isn't going to pit either. He's on 9 lap old mediums. I would have pitted, and Diego's actually gone on to hards. I'm sure that was an accident. He probably didn't want to go on to hards, but he can pit again to put on the softs and probably not lose any time at all, as they are just going through Ascari now, so I imagine he will come into pit again and put on the soft compound tyres. But 7 laps to go up on this Grand Prix, and most of the drivers are on soft tyres, so this is going to be a mini sprint to the end of the race now. So safety car is not in this lap, so there'll be another lap, which is good news for the drivers at the back of the grid like Diego, which will give them time to maybe pit again and be able to catch up still. But Diego seems to be going very slow. It looks like he's lost it trying to catch up the safety car. Now that's really not good news for him in that Alfa Romeo. So obviously Shea having that time penalty is going to play a big part now upon the restart, and all the cars behind him up until Nesh are on soft tyres, so it's going to be a real challenge for the Williams driver now of Shea to stay in P1. So safety car is in this lap. Diego is really far behind. So that is pretty much his race over, which is really unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. But you can see there, Shea just backing up the rest of the grid, and Neil not even warming up his tyres, just waiting to go. And I think Shea has decided to put the foot down now. And how far ahead of him is he from Neil? It looks like he's not too far ahead, and Neil's going to have a good runoff now to be able to make that move going into turn 1, and I think he is going to be close enough to be able to make that move into turn 1. I am completely wrong. It looks like he's just a little bit too far back. You can see Simple there going a little bit defensive to defend from Heppy, and a little bit further back we have Pova trying to get around the outside of Heppy into turn 1 and 2. No moves there so far, but Neil now is almost past Shea. Just needs to get that little bit extra speed, but just seems to not be able to find it. But Shea has used a lot of his ERS up already, which is going to leave him greatly compromised throughout the rest of this lap now. So now, is Shea going to be able to hold on for much longer? Because I think Neil is going to be able to get him along this straight, as he's going to have to slow him. But actually, I don't know. I don't think he's close enough. No, so looks like Shea will survive for another lap. So the more laps Shea can keep them behind, the more time he can actually gain upon the other drivers with his 3-second time penalty. I believe it is 3 seconds. We will quickly check that. Yes, 3 seconds. I've lost the tyres. There we go. But now, is Neil going to make a move on the main straight now? He does look to be closer than he was last time, and I think he is going to get the move done before turn 1 this time. Obviously, being on those soft compound tyres, you've got a greater advantage. But Shea looks to be using some of his ERS there, as they're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1. And Shea actually does manage to keep ahead of Neil there, but it looks like Neil will have another chance here as he gets a good exit. But behind him is the Alpine driver of T-Ran. Will he be looking to make a move? No, he will not. But it's now looking like Neil is going to try and go for the inside line. Getting a little bit out of shape there is Shea. Just making Neil back off a tiny little bit, as he doesn't want to be out of this race. And that is a virtual safety car after Motti has lost it somewhere. It looks like he's lost it on the exit of turn 2, maybe clipped another car, and that's actually a full course safety car. So this is giving the drivers that don't have penalties a nice advantage to the ones that do, as Shea's absolutely not going to be wanting this, as he's only going to have around 3 laps now to pull as many seconds as he can to the cars behind him. So we'll wait for Shea. I imagine he'll be staying out. I don't see why he'll be pitting. Yeah, there we go. He does stay out. So we'll wait for them to catch up to the safety car and then get around the grid. And then we'll be underway again. It is good news for the Jaeger though, because that means he can catch up and possibly try and get into the points now. Cotro does decide to come into pit. A few other drivers have also decided to come into pit. And my dog has decided to come in and say hello to me. Hello. Go on. Go on, dog. Come on, go. Alright, just gonna shut my door. So we'll wait for the other drivers to catch up to the safety car, and I imagine that'll be just as we go across the line to start lap 25, so it looks like the safety car will be coming in on lap 25, I believe. So it looks like the safety car is actually coming in this lap. Or was I blind? It doesn't look like it. Chase has called it back up. I thought it was because the gap did grow a little bit. So we will have another lap of the safety car. So there will be 2 laps of racing once the safety car comes in, and that will give Shea 2 laps to pull 3 seconds on the rest of the cars. But the good news for Shea is, because those medium tyres do last a lot longer than those softs, it means those softs will be getting worn down a little bit more, and maybe won't be as fast as what they were, but those medium tyres will not be degrading as quickly as the softs, which will give him a massive help. And you can see their safety car is in this lap. Let's hope Diego does not spin. Diego forgot when to brake. It seems like he just seems to be rushing a little bit too much, but let's hope he can catch up to the back of the safety car before it comes in this lap, and I believe he will be able to do so as he races around the track to try and get onto the back of it. He's only got to catch now 13 seconds, and I believe he will do so. You can see him pushing so hard to try and get to the back of the safety car now. He can see them in his sights just along the back of the straight now. Now, when is Shea going to go? It looks like Shea has decided to go now, so he will be a few seconds behind the rest of the drivers, but Neil is right on the back of Shea this time, and it looks like he's going to get the move done into turn 1, but who is going to brake later out of the 2, as last time outside I managed to keep the position, but this time it looks like Neil has got the move done, and that Shea now moved down into P2. Pot Rose managed to get Tank as well to move up into 10th place to take 1 point as it stands. Obviously that is not including penalties. A little bit further back we do have T Brown now trying to get past Shea. Obviously being on those fresher tyres is a massive advantage, and there's only a few laps of racing, but it looks like Neil will be on for the win here as long as he can keep it together for the rest of the race. Nesh does move up into P7 in that Ferrari. Happy on now on the back of Simple. Will he be able to make him? Oh, it looks like, oh, Happy, that was a good catch there, I'll give you that. He managed to keep it together and not lose the back end as he came out of the exit onto 10-7. Potro seems to get past Bray, and Hank seems to get past Jim. So Potro has now moved up into P8, so he is currently charging his way through the field. Simple is going to make a move on T-Ran, and Hefty's just going to sit and watch, hope that one of them go wide. It looks like they have hit, and Simple has been spun around. Because of that, Hefty is now in the gravel. Pova has moved up into P4. Simple is losing a lot of places because he's only just getting underway. Don't know what's happened to Potro. Potro seems to be limping home, it looks like. But Pova has now moved up into P4 because Simple and T-Ran did collide. It looks like T-Ran did not leave much space there on the inside through the Parabolica. But this is good news for Shea, as that 3-second time penalty only needs 1 more second. He is guaranteed third as it stands, as long as Pova does not catch up by half a second within this lap, which is going to be very close, I must say, for Shea. But a little bit further back, Simple now getting past Henk, it seems, through turn 3 and 4 there. Sorry, 5 and 6, no, 3 and 4, I was right. And Potro does pick up another 3-second time penalty. But as it stands, Pova now is only 3.2 seconds behind Shea. He's only got to close 2 more attempts, and that's a yellow sector. Looks like Potro's binned it on the last lap. Maybe out of frustration, I do not know. Just pushing a little bit too hard. Looks like out of turn 6. But it looks like Pova is 5 tenths behind Shea. So Neil's going to come across the line to win the Monza Grand Prix. Monza. Shea is going to take P3. Pova has managed to somehow get P2. It looks like T-Ram must have picked up a 3-second time penalty. Yes, he did. So Pova, our championship leader, the one who said he didn't like this track, has managed to pick up P2 upon this race. So that is a good result from him, so he can now extend his 16-point gap to 34 points. And there you go, our driver of the day is Simple. So I'll run you through the order. So you can see that Neil managed to pick up the win from P6. Pova from P9 picks up P2 due to penalties upon the other 2 drivers. Shea moved down into P3. T-Ran P4. Happy P5. Simple P6 after his incident with T-Ran. Nesh managed to get P7. Jim Racing in P8. Diego P9 and Henk in P10. And that is for round 12. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next week.